Morning, Daryl. It's 4:50 in the morning, Pacific Standard Time. It's October 7th, 2023 for a Saturday. Pal, are you seeing this shit? I mean, holy crap! I turned on the damn news on my cell phone. I'm like, what? And CNN had picked up on it, so did MSNBC, and I'm channel checking back and forth on this one. I mean, it's calm and peaceful this morning over here, but turning it on the news, it's not so much in Israel. You were talking about Bam Margera. And no, unfortunately, I haven't been keeping track of Bam Margera, nor am I keeping track of any other celebrities at this point. I'm more concerned about events like I'm seeing right now, live out in Israel. They're constantly under siege, both in both. I I can't even say this shit. It's just when has Israel not been at peace with itself? They've always been under constant siege ever since their country had started a long time ago. And now I'm seeing this on a constant. It's just unreal. But the problem is when we see a lot of it, it becomes normalized. It becomes regular. How does this kind of action become normalized and regular? How did it ever become that way? My God. I say I I'm stating this in the comfort of California. I had seen for years on how Israel was trying to defend itself from within. I mean, you talk about Israelis trying to find their own voice and kind of deny Gaza its voice. A long time ago, we've actually had proposals of having a two state system. It was never quite initialized. It was never quite recognized. Hamas inside the Gaza Strip wants the Israelis to be dead or leave or both. And the surrounding countrysides. I mean, Egypt has a peace treaty with Israel, so they're not going to dispute any borders or anything else like that. Hamas getting information and materials from Iran. Well, it just says that Israel is not welcome, neither is the Jewish nation. Lebanon's still watching and seeing what's going on. And Hezbollah's, I don't know, they're probably monitoring. And Israel's saying, okay, well, we got to strengthen the northern border. Every time the Israelis wanted to expand into the Western Bank, which is still Palestinian territory, there's always been conflict going on because Israel is getting more and more compact with people want to live in there. I don't know if I want to visit there, let alone live in that place. I really don't. I don't want to deal with this kind of. I don't want to deal with this. It's almost just as bad as if we had Mexico going to be doing a war zone on us because they want to take back territory that was lost to them a long time ago. Take back California, Arizona, Nevada, Texas, New Mexico. That's not like that, is it? You know, the youth these days don't even understand the reasons why. I don't think they even studied the history to find out what the hell happened. The Jewish nation has always been subjugated, always been picked upon, and they never had their own place to call home. Seriously. Despite the fact that we've had biblical stories concerning about Israeli people, were tribes, tribes from Abraham. Excuse me. And the sons of Abraham split apart like crazy. And throughout the millenniums, they've been trying to find their own place. They've always been scattered around, and the Jewish people never had their own nation. They kicked out from one place to another place. So when they actually get into a place established, courtesy of the United Nations, which was also tearing apart a country just to satisfy that one, and the population starts growing more than what the Palestinians liked, and Israel had become more and more militant, more combative, because they wanted to protect their own borders, they wanted to protect their own homeland. You would think a long time ago, if there was any hope for peace a long time ago, they would have been trying to be neighborly. But not really. I just don't understand the nature of this shit. Individual people you could probably dealing with. I'm dealing with the landscape. I'm dealing with the landscape that's constantly changing right now as it is. Just how are we supposed to be dealing with this in a new age of something here? 21st century is becoming more and more acutely aware of what war is all about. As if we didn't have enough war in our human history. And we have. I'm saying it like I'm an ignorant person, and probably I am. Because I know there's more dynamics, there's more story to this situation than we realize. There's more to it deeply ingrained and entrenched, and the stories will differ from points of view because of the conflicts that are happening. It's like, how are we supposed to be able to deal with this thing? My question to myself is, I don't know. I don't have the answers on this one. There are no answers for this one. And if there were any answers on this one, we lost it. Or we're not able to pay attention to it. It's like seeing a part of the United States, if you will, tearing its ass apart. Just how are we supposed to be able to deal with this? We can watch commercials about happy, smiling people demonstrating what kind of wonderful life they're having. And then you throw in the conflict of what's happening in real life. The conflict that we're seeing right now as it is. And it's pretty rattling. It's pretty rattling. You know what the irony of this weekend is? We have Indigenous Day coming up. But for the most part, people still try to understand it and celebrate it as Columbus Day. Growing up as a kid, Daryl, you must have been hearing stories about Columbus Day. The explorer from Portugal coming across the waters and exploring the West Indies, the Caribbean islands. We didn't hear about the exploitations. We didn't hear about the slavery situation or the conversion process or anything else like that. No, we just hear the homogenized versions growing up as a kid, reading it from the books. Until we actually, as serious students of history, getting into it more and more and finding out that the indigenous people really did not like Europeans all that much because of what they've been doing. This is demonstrating it. It's like we're going to be picking upon, if we shoved, and I hate picking on the Native Americans, but they were here first. This was their land. They came here first before us, and We even had the Vikings coming over. But did they have a full out war with the indigenous? But this is what we have. I'm saying, what if during those times we had put all the indigenous in one particular state? Okay? One particular state. We had every one of them. Instead of trying to blend them into our culture, we just shoved them into one particular state and let them fester in there like a damn disease, building up to a point where they're going to be threatening the body of the country. And this is what I'm looking at when I see Israel. They're going to continue to break this damn thing, so I'm just going to continue talking like this, pal. Not new. Unless they're going to be saying that Jerusalem has been taken by Hamas. I'm just going to keep watching some of it anyway, but not all of it. You talk about being totally depressed about the whole situation at this point over here. I am depressed about the whole situation right now because I'm not quite sure what to make of all of this damn thing. I really don't. I can't look at it and just say, oh, it's just Israel, and just dismiss it out of hand. I'm constantly trying to make sense of all of this. Daryl, I know you've probably been a little out of it a long time ago, and you probably wouldn't even remember what the hell happened in the 90s. I remember watching the Middle East going crazy, and Saddam Hussein trying to conquer Kuwait did. One of the oil fields left and right, and you had the Middle Eastern people, the folks in the Middle East, making coalitions with the United States and a few other European allies. They go after Saddam and take back what was theirs. There was more to it than that. I don't think I've grown up in an era where there wasn't a constant state of siege, one way or another, in one country or another. You can just make the dismissing remarks that, oh, but war is bad and war is this and blah, blah, blah. No, you're not getting the record. And you're not getting the weight. You're not getting the weight of the situation hanging on every thread, hanging on every instance that we're seeing right now. It was bad enough when I was seeing reporters wearing gas masks and body armor when part of Israel was getting attacked by Iraq, by Scud missiles. I was watching this on the news. I was sick into my stomach on that one. Here I am watching all hell break loose, and I'm thinking, damn. And during those days, I didn't see enough, or actually didn't see the action between Israel and its either West Bank or Gaza. 73, I was just a young kid, and they may have been covering it, but I bypassed it altogether. As a teenager growing into a manhood, I was watching this stuff as, sometimes there'd be a little skirmish here, but not much heavy. Not like what I've seen over the past 30 years when it's gotten worse. And I tried to read into the thing. I tried to listen to the news. I tried to understand what was going on. I was just, why are we doing this to each other? When I started reading into the history of Israel, I was trying to do it for a report. I don't know how I feel about Israel. If I had actual Jewish blood in me, if I actually had any Jewish ancestry in me from my father's side, if my father was actually Jewish, that was, I would probably feel a connection somehow deep for the Israeli people instead of the people in Gaza. We were always taught in the books in our religious upbringing about how special Israel was, how the land of Egypt had tormented the house of Abraham. I mean, before that, before Israel got into the slavery situation, there had been reported that the tribes of Abraham were having issues with the times of plenty and then the times of famine, and Egypt had to build up stocks and stores to help feed the other nations. Joseph, the guy with the man of many colors, he made his way into Israel, actually into Egypt. I remember watching a docudrama about him, actually a story about him. You know, after reading it in the Bible a long time ago, it's like, okay, one ear out the other ear, but then I'm seeing this happen. It's just, seeing the drama. It was heavy. It was heavy back in the 80s and 90s. They were very big on religious films during those days. I'm trying to understand how the house of Abraham, the tribes of Abraham, were struggling for survival, went into Egypt, and just stayed. And Egypt, in its changing of rulership, decided to use the Jewish nation as slaves. That's we have Exodus happening. Now we got this going on. Israel being used as a war zone. People had fought for centuries over the city of Jerusalem. Jerusalem was supposed to be the religious Mecca. And whoever possessed it, you know, that's a hell of a city to be possessing at that point, I guess. It's gotten crazier and crazier. There had been stories, we were told, if there was going to be a second coming, the place of Zion, which is supposed to have been assumed as Jerusalem, was going to be God's seat. How would he see Israel? Can't even reconcile with itself. And quite frankly, I don't know where the answers are coming from and what the solution is. Except for Hamas to knock their shit out, and so is Israel knocking their shit out. And just coming to the tables and talk. And if they can't do that, well, Iran's going to be supplying the arms. Hezbollah is going to be laughing their asses off. And the world will watch Israel tear its ass apart. Meanwhile, the United States is going to be going for broke with its war with Ukraine. Nobody's seen that coming. For 2 years, we didn't. Earlier than 2 years, we didn't see this coming. That Putin was going to be targeting it. Europe's breadbasket turning into a war zone. Oh God. So how are we supposed to be dealing this with them? I know Israel's talking to reporters right now on CNN. But I'm watching people hunkered down. Especially when there's a missile attack and they don't know where the hell they're going because of what's been happening in Gaza. Yeah, I haven't heard the Israeli point of view yet. I imagine it's going to be the same thing. They're going to be blaming everything on Hamas because it is Hamas's fault. They made the strike. That's still an ongoing dispute, and they are at war. I can't tell you how rattled I am because of this situation. Uh, I could turn this damn thing off and not worry about it when I'm watching missile strikes. Yeah, Daryl, I don't know what the hell to say at this point. Honest to God, I don't. And I'm quite sickened by the whole situation.